Hello and welcome back to my channel. It's time for Teddy's Talk Show. I have a wonderful, wonderful guest for you today. She works in London for a construction company. She deals with PR. It is the ever wonderful Catherine Llewellyn. Yay, Catherine!
Hey!
Thanks
Hello.
so much for joining me today, Catherine.
Oh, I'm honoured to be on the show.
Honoured a lot. Well, you know, I have such a large following. Do you know what I mean? Well, actually, I do have such a large following. You know, people are just popping up all the time trying to find out about my information. But anyway, too much about me. This is about you. So tell me about who you are, what you do in life, how we first met, and what you do for a job.
Okay, so I'm Catherine Llewellyn. I am a corporate communications manager, and I met Teddi at a party about 6 years ago, and we literally saw each other across the room. We're like, darling! He was like, darling! We just knew. I knew we were going to be firm friends, and we've been great friends ever since.
Yes, I think that first meeting was rather hilarious because I think it was through a mutual friend, and I think the mutual friend had spoken about us to each other, and then I was so happy you were coming to this party because I was like, this girl is like on my wavelength. And then we chatted for a while, and then I remember you posted, I think it was a few days later because it was around Halloween, these different broomsticks, and you're like, which broom am I using today, darling? It's like, and then I knew then we were going to be firm friends for a long time. Anybody that can make a witch joke, I'm there for. So you're a corporate communications manager. What does that entail?
Okay, so it's basically, so I started out as a journalist, and while I enjoyed it, I found that there was just so much negativity. You know, you're kind of writing not always very nice stories, and I always wanted to, just put the good stuff out there. And what I really like about communications is we're looking for the good stories all the time. So I work for an engineering company, and every day is completely different. And we're just, what's exciting about engineering is that it's completely changing everything around us. So it's like, our trains, it's our buildings, our sports stadiums, like everything. So I really like it because it's completely different every day. I like that.
Yeah, I think as well, like in my role in the business, I do marketing, and part of that is communications, internal and external. And actually I really understand how communications is just such a nice job, because especially if you're in a large company and that's your job to try and find the best stories or the lovely stories about your business. And obviously you go to that business because you want to work for them. So I think that's really lovely. And that's because I quite like communications as well in the role. I quite like sort of communicating out to the wider communities that isn't just like ourselves. So that's really good. Also, if you can hear Happy in the background, somebody's phone is going off. Apologies about that. I think I've been able to cover that out with my loud voice. So that's really interesting. So a journalist, can you tell us where you used to work, or are you not allowed?
Yeah, so I started as a TV presenter in Latvia, the natural start to the career.
I love it. Oh my goodness, I didn't know that. A TV presenter in Latvia of all places. How was Latvia?
Oh, it was beautiful actually, like really, really beautiful. And it was really good because I was 21, so it was really exciting to move to another country straight after doing my master's. And we had to go to Switzerland once a month to do quite a glitzy video, and I loved all of that. But I missed London, so I came back and worked for a magazine about healthcare.
Oh, lovely. And did you have any, and then after, is that when you moved into communications, after your healthcare magazine, or when was that?
It is. And I've been working in engineering communications ever since. So for about 8 years.
Nice. So clearly you like a lot of stuff about engineering, which is always nice to know because there are not enough women in STEM, which is obviously science, technology, engineering and mathematics, I believe.
We're always trying to get the good stories about, different diverse groups, because I think that the industry definitely has got a stereotype of just being men. So we're trying to get, people from, all different diverse groups, getting their good stories out there all the time. I think it's really important.
Yes, I think that is actually. I think it's important to, having those stories, especially about any sort of diversity, not just talking about women, but also LGBT, anybody from the BAME background as well. Having those sort of stories that do talk about those things are always really, really helpful. Especially because obviously, well, not so much probably anymore, but at one time or another, it was quite a male-dominated world. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, and I would say it still is quite male-dominated. But it's great that you are doing that work and that you're there.
But do you remember, am I allowed to tell the story about when you were part of the engineering community for one day?
Oh yeah, go ahead, go on.
So basically, my old company, so a while ago, I won't name any names, but they were part of a thing called like Building for Equality. And as part of that, they said, we're going to be the Pride Parade, and it's an amazing opportunity to be able to walk in the Pride Parade. And Teddi and I actually happened to bump into each other once in the Pride, just in Pride on one time when we first started.
Yeah.
And we were like, imagine being in it, it would be amazing. And my company at the time were like, we've got some places in it. And we were like, this is amazing. And I said to Teddi, do you want to come in it with me? And then at work, we got this email around saying, because we've only got 20 places, it has to be people who work here. So we pretended that Teddi worked there. And we literally were like, she's come in from the Shanghai office. She works in finance. That thing really vague that no one would ask questions about.
Yeah, because no one is gonna. And it was so funny that day actually, because we fooled so many people. We were sat there. So I was just like, I'll just make up some sort of random that I'm in accounts or something, because that's believable. And because nobody cares about accounts, nobody asks about accounts in the company. No one's like, I'm just going to check if that person actually is an account, because the only thing people care about is getting paid. So as long as you're paid, it doesn't matter. So yeah, I was like, I'm from the Shanghai office, and I just remember howling at people being like, oh my goodness, he's come all the way from Shanghai. She's come all the way from the Shanghai. It was so
oh my God.
funny.
So funny.
That whole day, and I remember for some reason, however, we had to carry this bloody banner, and I was like, I'm not carrying that. It took us for ages to get there as well, didn't it? Genuinely a long time.
Oh my God.
Just going down Regent Street, I was like, I need to go. So anyway, we were in place. We met at 12, we were in place by 2, we didn't finish till 6.
Yeah.
I was like, never again.
No. After that, we just watched it, didn't we?
Yeah, we've just attended it. And also, so for me, actually, because you've also come to Peterborough Pride as well. And I actually feel that the smaller prides are not are sort of better in a way, because they're building up, so you don't have these massive long queues and everything else. But yeah, it was definitely London Pride in the Pride Parade is definitely one of the memories that I always sort of remember, and it was just fantastic. It was amazing to have that day of acceptance, really, and so many people were watching, so many people were saying that we stand with you, so that was really great.
Everyone was cheering, and it was honestly one of my favourite experiences in London. Absolutely loved it. Yeah,
but I would never do it again.
No.
Done. Dead and buried. No. Unless I can sit on a float, because we were walking. Unless I can sit on a float, because we were in front of the PlayStation float, and they had 20 drag queens. And do you remember when they did Vogue by Madonna? They put Vogue by Madonna on, and this drag queen literally jumped from the top of the bus all the way down to the bottom of the bus. And it actually
my
dropped onto the floor, and it was just incredible. And that was a really, really fun day. And we got like glittery and everything else. That was always fun. But yes, so that has been part one. And thank you for joining me for part one, Catherine. We will be back in a moment to talk about our next segment, which always is coronavirus and me, which is what I like to call it. So we'll be back in a few moments. Don't go anywhere. Well, that was part one, and we learned all about Catherine and what she does in her life. So if you want to follow her on any of her social medias, they are there. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks so much, Catherine Llewellyn, for joining me once again. So this part is coronavirus and me. And it's all about how we have been dealing with coronavirus. How has coronavirus affected you, my love?
Okay, so in a few ways, I started my new job on the first day of lockdown. So that was so it's funny because I met my team briefly in my interviews, but apart from that, and so I've been doing everything online, like all my video calls and things, which to be honest, like that's been great. And on a social side, I think like I actually quite like socializing in slippers, like being able to like sit with like
oh my gosh, that is a whole new brand right there. Socializing in slippers. That is amazing. Like, yeah, that is amazing. Actually, no, it's 100% true what you have said, just that. Because it's actually nice to be having a drink, but not being out in a busy bar, being able to understand what people are saying, and like being in your bed and being able to do it.
Yeah, and like I'm actually hoping to take some of this like slower pace of life out of afterwards. I really enjoy it. Obviously, like I really miss people, and I'm looking forward to being able to see people again. But I think there's so many like positives we can take from it, and we've got a lot more time on our hands to be able to like think about what we want to do. And I think so. Since we started in lockdown, I've started conducting lessons. Learning. And you're meant to, when you start conducting, you're meant to be able to try different batons, but obviously none of the music shops are open. So I've been using a makeup brush. So, yeah.
That is absolutely brilliant. I love that. And what drew you to conducting in the first place?
Well, I always wanted to do it when I was a teenager, and then I just ended up going down another route. But I do think that like, I don't know if you felt this, but since we've been inside all the time, I keep thinking like, is our, we're in our youth still, and like, is this time that we're losing? And I was thinking like, how are we gonna, feel like we're doing something productive with this time? And then obviously you've done these amazing shows, and you're keeping people entertained and perking people up, and I just wanted to do something that was like, with my time, that when I came out of this, I was going to think, oh, I'm glad I did that.
Yeah, and I think that's been quite a big thing about people learning new skills. I mean, obviously for me, I've just sort of tried to do what I can with the talents I have. And I think that has really refined the process. I think I've got a lot better at doing makeup as well, just because I'm doing it more. And I think, all those kind of like artsy kind of things, like I was talking to, in a previous interview, I was talking to my friend James, and we were just talking about the fact that actually those kind of things like sort of singing, dancing, acting, that kind of thing, just take time to perfect. You won't get those overnight. So it's really interesting but also as well, that is very left field. I feel like conducting is like very left field, and like and like something that like obviously because I know you, that isn't left field for you at all. But like I think out of everything that people are learning to do, I think conducting is great. The one question I do have to ask though, like, are you not supposed to have like instrument skills to be a conductor?
Yeah, so I played piano I had lessons from when I was 5 until I was about 18.
Wow.
So, yeah,
any grades? Did you do any grades?
Yeah, I got to grade 5, and then
wow, that's good.
So but yeah, I would love to get a piano again, and I also played
saxophone. Keys.
Oh yeah. But with the saxophone, this is terrible, and like I'm sure none of my teachers are listening, but I remember you're allowed to leave lessons to play the saxophone in my school. And if I remember in a lesson, if I didn't bring my homework, I used to just leave with my saxophone and walk around the school. And just like,
yeah.
as a teacher, to think, oh, you know, isn't that good? She's learning an instrument. Like, they didn't think you were naughty. You just walk off.
Oh, hilarious. If you hadn't just get up and walk out to the saxophone. That is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I love the saxophone as well. I think one of my favourite songs is it Basil? It's not Basil Street.
Baker Street.
Baker Street. That's it. Yeah. It's such an iconic kind of Basil Street. What the fuck? I was thinking about the Great Mouse Detective from Disney. Oh, love Disney. But yeah, but a saxophone is great. And when you hear saxophone like have its own little like beat and stuff, you're like, yeah, saxophone. Like it's one of those instruments that you don't necessarily think about. But yeah, so what else do you do apart from conducting?
So at school I was really bad at art, and I've never ever kind of gone down, you know, like tried since. Mm-hmm. You know when you're just bad at something when you're a teenager, so you just kind of assume you still will be. But a few weeks ago we got some sketchbooks, and as you've seen, I've had some pretty bad ones, but I've been working on it, and like it's actually quite fun, like doing tutorials. And to be honest with you, no matter how bad you are, I really would recommend. We just ordered a couple of books online and some pencils, and just putting on some relaxing music and giving it a go. And when you do something that's not completely rubbish, you feel really good about yourself. They
do say though that because I know there's a whole load of people that when they're doing sort of therapy and stuff, they do like colouring books and stuff like that, because it does just bring you down from where you may possibly have been. So yeah, I think definitely. Oh, I'm just yawning. Apologise. It's been a long day.
Oh.
So stop. Yeah, you guys start snuggling up and
now for a break, and we just both kind of
just fall asleep. But yeah, so that's really cool, and I think as well, again, art, you can really get better at it, and I think it is something that you have to try over time. I was at a craft shop the other day and raided so much stuff because I just thought, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. So yeah, so it's really.
What have you been making?
Just like little things, nothing too major. Yeah. I made my friend a little, like, you know those things that say like, your name, and then you split things off from them.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah, so something like that, just because she's been giving me lots of lovely gifts. So I thought, I should really give her something back. So, and something that she can keep as well. So I thought, yeah, that's great. So, yes. So, important life changes. You were on the skill train, which is fantastic. And it's interesting, actually, because a lot of people are doing different stuff. So, like, one of my friends has been doing gardening, another one of my friends has really been hitting workouts, and you've been doing some new skills, which is fantastic, and going back to old stuff, which is great. So that was part 2, and come back for part 3, because we will be talking about, of course, my favourite subject, makeup, and what makeup we have in our lives that we need. So that will be back for part 3. So we are back for our final part of Teddi's talk show with the lovely Catherine Llewellyn. And this time we are talking about makeup, which we love. I'm going to go first, as it's my show. So I'm going to talk about my favourite products. So the first time, this time I'm talking about different bits and pieces. I've spoken about lips, I've spoken about general face, but today I'm talking about baking powder. I'm just got to do this lovely little thing that every YouTuber does when they're talking about makeup products. You've always got to do that. And actually, this has really taken. I was telling Catherine before. This has really taken up my makeup level to a whole new game. You just pop it on after you've sort of done all of your contouring and stuff, and you've put your powders out. You just put it in your sort of light spots, and it really brings out just a great face, really. This is from Revolution. This, I believe, is about £5, so really inexpensive. There's a lot in there. And also as well, you can get a brush that is specifically for this for £6. So £11 really to heighten up your makeup game. And I think actually £5 for that. This is going to last me so long, I think, to be honest. So I think that's really good. My next product is my lashes, which you can see on me today. These are from What a Drag. The business is a drag supplier. But obviously, if you like a big, thick lash, you can go to, you can use them as well. There's absolutely no stop. It comes in this lovely little box. They send you a personalised message. They're great lashes as well, actually. You last them for really long. And there's loads and loads of bundles. I believe these cost me £6. So the same price as what you get in like Boots and stuff, but you can buy them online at whatadrag.co.uk. So that is my 2 favourite products this week. What about you, Catherine? What's your favourite makeup
They look
products?
fabulous. Well, actually, so I don't know, have you heard of Beauty Pie?
I love that so much.
Do. So just in case anyone doesn't know, like I'm not on commission, just so I probably sound like I am. But like it's this like subscription where you pay just £10 a month and you get like really cheap copies of like the nicest makeup. So like their foundation is really good. They've got like I think it's a copy of Armani Silk.
Oh.
So I like that. And then there's this one called the One Palette Wonder, and it's everything everything.
Ooh.
And I think it was something like £5, and it's just really good prices, and the skincare is really good as well. So I've been using a lot of that, and actually something that I rediscovered today when I've been putting my makeup on was Hoola by Benefit, and I never tan anyway. Like I'm so pale, but it's we're obviously not going outside, so it's quite nice to have a little bit of colour. I just mix that in with my foundation, and I feel like I've been on holiday.
Lovely, that's great. And I think as well, like you're like with any makeup regime, as long as you feel good when you've got your makeup on, that's absolutely fine. Whatever you're doing. So what is your favourite brand of makeup?
So I've been introduced to just as a birthday present, Charlotte Tilbury. So I really like that's the goddess, the Golden Goddess palette. It's really
wow.
The colours are really flattering, and they just last all day. You just wear any of them. When sometimes there's always a dud in the palette where you're just like
you're never using it, and it's normally like a really weird grey green.
Yeah. Along those lines, but yeah, and obviously I always end up back with MAC as well. I love MAC.
Yeah, I really like MAC as well. For me, I think they have great products that can enhance what you already have. They are a little bit more expensive, but again, like my setting spray is MAC, and that's the only setting spray I use. And I haven't found the setting spray that does what they do. Also as well, some of my setting powders and setting foundations are from there as well. Just because again, they just give a different level of they just know makeup really well. The one thing I will say about MAC though, as I've said previously as well, I don't really rate their lipsticks that much. I think for the price point they are, I don't really think the products are that you have to quite lather them up a lot, and I feel as though sometimes they've really dried out my lips when doing it as well, and it's quite like sometimes it can be quite crunchy. So yes, but actually if you were like one of those makeup artists that were like doing all these tutorials and doing all these looks and stuff, then MAC is a fantastic place to go, because it's because there's so many different colours. They do the most amazing colours. And what's your top tip for anybody that wants to get into makeup?
Ooh, I would say not to copy, what is in fashion. Just because something looks good on one person, not to feel, not to do it for yourself. And I think just work with you. I mean, I once got my makeup done by MAC, and I said to the lady, it was before an event, I was just like, do whatever you like. I was quite relaxed about it. And she said, I'm so sick of every single girl wanting to look like a Kardashian and just wanting the exact same look. And she's like, obviously it's a beautiful look, and then, you know, there's a reason why everyone wants, you know, that look.
Yeah.
You know, I think just like work with your features, and, you know, don't feel like you have to look like other people, and just...
Yeah, definitely. I think makeup definitely is a journey. And for me, I know that I, like, that is a big thing for me. Having that journey and going along that journey and doing, yeah, and like knowing what works for you. I like recently, okay, yawn again. Oh gosh, Nana's bedtime. I think it's Nana's grey wig, and I think as well, like recently as well, I was like, oh, you know, I don't look like this drag queen, or I don't look like that drag queen, and I had to remind myself that obviously I am my own drag queen. I am my own persona. I am my own. So it doesn't matter that I don't look like, you know, X, Y, Z. Obviously you can take tips and tricks from those people, but massively, I think you just have to like look at sort of what works for you, and that might not work for somebody else, but it works for you. And that's, I think, massively. And I would say also as well, like, never be afraid to try something. And the best place to do that is just at home in your bedroom. You know, if you've not got anything to do on a Sunday, just have a little play and experiment, and look at also what colours suit you. You know, not every skin tone suits certain colours. You know, you can't, because like for me, I know that I wouldn't suit like, I'm now trying to think, like a bright yellow or a bright green or a bright blue can sometimes come off really bad on me, but I know that like the reds and the greens and the more sort of nude colours, browns, works really well on my skin. So there's also a bit of that as well. But yes, so that's all about makeup. Thank you so much for joining me today, Catherine.
Thank you. I've loved our chats, as always.
Good, as always. So, last time to shout out about you, if you want to. If you do want to go follow Catherine on any of her social media items, if you want that, Catherine, say where they are now. What's your Instagram name?
It is... Oh my gosh, I can't believe I can't remember it. Not that I'm not on it that often. It's Catherine Llewellyn 43, and Llewellyn has 4 L's in it. I was very greedy with the L's when I was
yes, I think what's great about Catherine's Instagram as well is that she gives you like such variety. So there's stunning pictures of herself by like a babbling brook, and then she'll have a photo of like a meal that she's made, which I just think the levels of difference are just amazing. So catch you if you can.
Oh, yes, darling.
Hilarious. Thank you so much today, Catherine. Big love. Stay safe, my love, and hope you see you soon.
Oh yes, darling. Bye.
Thanks so much for joining me today. I've had such fun chatting with one of my best gal pals. We have been discussing all sorts of different things today, and all the links, everything else are in the comments of the video. And so until next time, see you.